Ruggiero strikes. Here's Jack Musa on the breakaway, looking for two, he's got it! Jack Musa across to O'Hara, he scores! That's a program record for point streak. Here's Santos Mills on the doorstep, they score!
Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode of the UMass Hockey Preview Show presented by UMass Journalism. I am Jacob Repper.
And I am John Ruggiero. Thanks so much for joining us here on YouTube. In this show, we'll look back at the first hat trick via UMass Minuteman freshman in 10 years in the game versus Stonehill, and we will preview the games versus Northeastern and Bentley.
John, I went home for the weekend, so I relaxed a little bit, but you went to a pretty cool setting being you're a Boston Bruins fan to call this game. Is that right?
Yeah, Jacob, that was Warrior Ice Arena. Pretty fun. Of course, the Bruins practice facility in Brighton, and of course Stonehill is playing there because they have plans to build a new arena in Easton, and their Bridgewater Ice Arena isn't exactly up to the independent circuit college hockey D1 play. So definitely a fun place there, and UMass, of course, got the win.
It was the first time that these two teams have ever met, John, and it got off to a pretty interesting start.
Yeah, Jacob, it certainly did. Stonehill came into this game 0-2, but that certainly did not deter them. They got off to a good lead in shots, but here's Vaslav Nestrasil scoring his first goal of the night on the wraparound chance there. That was assisted by Daniel Jensko, who we'll talk about later. But then Stonehill goes ahead and ties the game in the second period with Teddy Lagerback. Billy Renfrew for Stonehill, we talked about him last week, gets his fourth assist of the year. And now UMass responds right back in the second period. Mikey D'Angelo scores his first goal in a Minuteman uniform. Great snipe of the left corner there. Jack Musa on the assist, his second of the night. And then what a play here by Jack Galenic. Backhanded it middle to Vaslav Nestrasil, his second goal of the night. Daniel Jensko with another assist on that one. And here is the fourth goal. Delalce, a one-timer. It's loose in front, and Drolowitz makes a save, but then Nestrasil scores the hat trick. His third goal of the evening. Unbelievable stuff from the freshman.
I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up this pace of talking about Nestrasil, John.
I know. I don't think our voices can handle it. My voice was certainly strained after that hat trick goal.
He becomes the first freshman to record a hat trick since 2015 when Austin Plevey did it. And John, he also adds his name to a very nice list among Minutemen players.
Yeah, Jacob, Nestrasil is one of 4 players to score 4 or more goals in their first 3 games of the season. The last player to do it, Aidar Suniev, last season. He went on to score 20 goals for the Minutemen. So Nestrasil definitely in great company with this group right here. And something to note is that last game, Coach Carvel moved Daniel Jensko down to the Nestrasil line alongside Jack Galenic. That was in place of Matthew Wild. And that line had some more life with the addition of Jensko. He had 2 assists in the game against Stonehill and already has 4 points to start the year.
A lot of young players, John. You don't know what you're going to expect coming into the year. Nestrasil looks great. Jensko, like you mentioned, will be able to keep an eye on that. Is it going to stay? That's the big question. But another guy that has been rock solid, 3 assists in his first 3 games, is Jack Galenic. We caught up with him during this week's media. Here's what he had to say.
Obviously, first year college hockey so far, just what's the jump been like for you?
Yeah, it's obviously a lot faster. I think Vonner, our strength coach, and all the staff did a great job preparing us and the older guys. Over the summer, we did a lot of work, and I think that helped our preparation. I felt really in shape going into the season. So I think the speed and stuff's been definitely a jump in the physicality, but all the work we did this summer, I think, helped that jump make it easier.
What do you kind of consider the strength of your game?
I'd say my hockey sense, my ability to make plays, and my skill. And I'm trying to learn to play harder and be reliable on both sides of the puck. Be a guy that can kind of make an impact other than just making plays. So that's something I'm working on.
After this past weekend, UMass moves up to number 11 in the USCHO. That's the United States Hockey Organization poll. And John, what catches your eye?
Jacob, UMass came into the season 16th. They move up 5 spots in the first 2 weekends, sitting pretty there in 11th with maybe some room to move up. Boston College has moved down. So has Providence. That's a surprise. They're 0-2. Below UMass now, I believe, in 14th. But of course, BU, the big dogs, moving up to number 1 in the poll. And of course, Western Michigan and Michigan State moving down after some upsets this past weekend. So definitely some things to look forward to here for UMass, Jacob.
You got to love the early season. So many different switches up in the rankings, but this is the highest UMass has been ranked since the 2023-2024 regular season when they made the top 10 in weeks 9, 10, and 11. John, you think after this upcoming week they'll be able to crack that top 10?
Well, Jacob, how can I tell you that if we haven't even done our preview yet of the teams for this weekend?
Well, hold that thought. Let's just jump right into it. It starts Friday. UMass welcomes a Hockey East opponent in Northeastern. What can you tell me, John, about these Northeastern Huskies?
Well, Jacob, I can tell you that they're 1-1 to start the year. They played 2 Atlantic Hockey opponents. They were able to beat Holy Cross 6-4, but then actually lost to Army 2-1. Not ideal for the Huskies. But that's because they have 14 newcomers, 9 freshmen, 5 transfers. That's a big number there. 48 goals last season. That was the lowest in Hockey East. So they're going to hope that some of those new faces can provide offensively. But with all that said, the strength of this team appears to be on the back end.
It certainly is, John. This is a Huskies team that is so good defensively. 5 of their 8 defensemen are all upperclassmen. So it's an older team, and a guy you have to watch out, folks, is Vinny Borghese, the captain. He's in his 4th season here in Boston, 60 points in 100 career games. And the thing I love about the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania native, John, is that he's gritty. He's physical. He has the points, 22 points last season. He blocked shots, 51 last year. That was 3rd on the team in defensemen. And, John, he's just a really tough player that UMass is going to have to get through.
Yeah, Jacob, if they can get through him, they have another task in defeating Lawton Zacher. He's a transfer from Brown. He spent 2 years down in Rhode Island. Last year went 14-11-2 with a .248 goals against average and a .917 save percentage. A Hobie Baker nominee down in Brown. Big stuff right there. Also a Mike Richter Award semifinalist. He's going to be a tough task for UMass.
What do you think? You think they could do it?
Well, Jacob, they got some promising guys like Václav Nestrasil. I think if he can score 3 against Stonehill, maybe he'll score at least 1 against Northeastern.
Keep an eye on the matchup between Jack Musa and Borghese in front of the net. 2 physical guys. I'm excited to see how that pans out. But if UMass can tackle Northeastern, it goes to Game 2. They welcome the 0-2 Bentley University Falcons into the Mullins Center, 7 o'clock start. And, John, this is a Bentley team that they had a pretty strong year last year. They won the Atlantic Hockey Conference before losing to Boston College 3-1 in the regional tournament. However, that's all in the past. This current team, like UMass, they lost a lot of their forwards coming into this season.
Yeah, Jacob, they lost their top 3 scorers, and all of whom were grad students. I think of Ethan Lay right off the top of my head. He led the team with 42 points last year in 37 games. However, they do return 20 players. That's a big number right there. So who are the players to watch for you, Jacob?
For me, John, you look at Steven Castagna. He's a senior, age 24, career points 67 in 110 games played. Then you look at the former freshman, Oscar Botvig, during his first year, 16 points, 10 goals. He's the lead returning scorer. And then Easton Hesse taking in for Connor Hasley, who had 11 shutouts last year, the Arizona State transfer. He's out the door. Hesse comes in, the Lake Superior State transfer, .923 save percentage, a 3.08 goals against average. If he is strong, John, I feel like this Bentley team, they can be really good. They could be atop the Atlantic Hockey League again.
And Jacob, I'd say so myself. As you mentioned, they lost Connor Hasley to Arizona State, so that's a big loss. But Hesse, Castagna, all those guys I think will put up a big fight against UMass.
That is all for us here on the UMass Hockey Preview Show presented by UMass Journalism. I'm Jacob Repper.
And I'm John Ruggiero. Thanks so much for joining us here. Episode 3 of the preview show. Next week for episode 4, we'll break down the outcome of Northeastern and Bentley and preview the series against NCHC opponent Omaha. Fun stuff ahead. See you then.